What up, YouTube? We are back once again, and we're on a road trip. Yo, guys, so I appreciate you guys, loving the real estate content, supporting me, whatnot. This particular video, I want to give you guys some real deal insight on why in my particular real estate business, I'm at a point in my real estate business where, of course, we're not, doing hundreds of millions of dollars yet. But we are at a point to where we definitely pick and choose who we want to work with as a client. And for any other realtors who are watching this content and watching my channel, I want a lot of my videos to not only be a guide to how, we do things, but also to let you guys know, I'm very knowledgeable in this business, and there's multiple things that you can do in this business to still make money. Of course, if you guys want mentorship or anything like that, book a consultation with me, and, we can talk about, something like that, or you guys can actually reach out to us and possibly join the team, right? But this particular video is mainly about the whole concept of turning down business. Now, before, I get actually into, why I personally turn down business, the average person who's a real estate agent or real estate professional, whatever you want to call it, they don't close deals. The average, what was it last year, 2025, 70% of real estate agents did not close on one single property. And that's very telling to where real estate is a very highly competitive industry and a very expensive industry. If you guys just watched my video, about me spending $10,000 in 1 month just on my real estate business. Nothing else, that wasn't personal expenses, nothing. That was just real estate related stuff, right? Well, with that being said, right, I don't want this video to come across as if, we're not just... Actually, scratch that, actually. Also, one thing about YouTube and my particular videos is we do this in real time, guys. Number one, I'm at a point to where I'm starting to turn down a lot of business because, when it comes to certain clients, and not to talk bad on any client, but if I can't wholesale your property, or I can't purchase your property, or none of my investors can buy your property, and you're kind of a seller who's a little bit unrealistic, and especially in a market like this, on what you think you can sell your house for, I'm not even going to entertain it. Especially in this type of market, a lot of sellers, they're trying to lowball real estate agents when it comes to commission. Now, I don't even need to get into whole explaining a while. A lot of times as a listing agent, we don't get the full commission, no way. But when it comes to real estate, people don't really understand that, when we get these listings, no matter what the listing is, it could be the multi-million-dollar mansion. It could also be the beat up house around the block or commercial property. No matter what the listing is, guys, as a real estate professional, we're putting up money up front before your property even touches the market. And after a while, I just had a conversation with a lady the other day. I did a traditional listing appointment. We talked about selling our house, and I was like, bro, if we can't come to terms, you already want an unrealistic number for your property. I'm telling you, you're not going to sell your property at that amount. But I can sell your property fast. But if, in order for me to sell fast, this is, what I charge for my services, especially the amount of money I'm going to put into marketing. And, I had to just let her know, she was trying to get me to go down to 4%. And, her house, compared to my expenses on what we're going to pay in marketing, it just didn't make sense it didn't make sense at all for what I was going to time that I was going to invest into the property, it didn't make sense. So evidently, with this property and a few other properties lately, like, you know, if it doesn't make sense, I'm not doing it, especially when it comes to commission. And that's where a lot of people go wrong in their real estate business. A lot of these agents are so desperate for business that they don't run the numbers and do calculations to see, is the time and money that I'm putting into this property worth my time, my peace, and patience? And that particular property just wasn't it. So, you know, I am thankful that, you know, I'm definitely at a point in, you know, the real estate business where, you know, we're turning down business. Now, just because we're turning down business does not mean we're not making money from that business. Everybody that I turn around, we're doing referral agreements. We're referring out to somebody else who is, you know, able to give those people more time, patience, and whatever. But, you know, as we grow, especially in the commercial world, heavily in the commercial world, and then, you know, even in the residential world, you know, if it's not something that makes sense, like, I'm not entertaining it. No way. Like, no way, form, or fashion. I'm not putting no money up. I'm not even going down that right. Because, guys, like, I audited my business, you know, spending $10,000 a month. And actually, you know, contrary to popularly believe, guys, when you're actually running a real deal corporation, $10,000 a month is actually nothing. Like, that's not even payroll for most people. But, you know, as I'm starting to audit my business, you know, I'm actually building an AI platform for real estate agents and real estate professionals that they can use. So, guys, be on the lookout for that. But as I audited my business, you know, certain properties for me to list, you know, if I'm not getting paid a certain amount after paying the buyer side their commission and their cut, and then after all the money that I'm going to put into the marketing, it doesn't make sense. And if it doesn't make sense, I'm not doing it. And that's where, if a lot of agents started to do that, especially once you get into top 1%, top performance status, your business will change drastically, and you will save a lot more money and keep a lot more money in your pocket, and you'll have a lot more time on your hands, you know. After a while, like, you know, I'm very thankful, like, to be in a point to where, you know, I'm not desperate for business anymore. Especially, you know, when we're getting into other avenues in the real estate business, you know, it's not really like, oh, wow, I have a client. Like, you know, I've spent years and years and years building up my personal brand to where, you know, I get leads and calls daily. But not only that, you know, we got other avenues, other platforms like YouTube, to where, you know, we don't necessarily have to, you know, accept every particular client that needs the services. Now, don't get it wrong. Just because, you know, I can't help you, trust and believe. I got somebody who will take on the business and get you taken care of. Trust and believe. And we're still going to make some money off of it. But moving forward, like, we're definitely not just taking any type of business. So, if you're a real estate agent, you know, or a real estate professional, you're in a real estate business, you do wholesale, whatever you do or whatever, like, and you need guidance of any way, form, or fashion, hit me up. You know, I help people. I help agents. I consult with agents, this, that, and the third. You know, me and my team, we will, you know, happily, you know, interview you, see if it's a good fit, or if you just need consultation services, you know, we're here to help in any way, form, or fashion. So make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share. Also, for any agents who are looking for a AI assistant custom built, let me know. I'm currently doing custom builds for like AI agent software, to where, you know, it's able to answer your emails for you, look over agreements for you while you're not there, all type of stuff. So it does come with a hefty fee, but, you know, it definitely works and is ideal use, you know, for somebody who's very, very busy like myself. So make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.